Hey Andrea, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and it is Valentine's Day and love is in the air, and I'm going to cut a pair of lovely Coach glasses for you. It is the model number 6001, made by Coach. It is color 5055, which is the dark tortoise. Hopefully that comes up. And I'm sure you are going to fall in love with this. It has the great kissing C's, a pair of them here, and of course all the way down the temple on each side. And the tortoise has that lighter color on the inside. So let me pop out your original demo lenses, one of which it says Coach. And you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging, but I'm going to take your frame, putting into the tracing element of my edger, wake it up, and then hit trace. Everyone wants to know what shape. How does the computer know what shape lens to cut? That's why this stylus is going to come up and it's going to go around and trace the shape of the right lens here at freeprescriptionlenses.com before moving over and tracing the shape of the left, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Coach frame and you will receive free, clear, single vision lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses if that's your thing. But you did upgrade to the transition lenses, and that's the only thing you're going to pay for with your lenses. Now your pupillary distance is 32 in each eye, so that comes up there. Let's go ahead and get your lenses prepped. Let's take this down here. Now your prescription, where's the flashlight I'm going to need? Here we go, here we go. I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to need that in a moment. But your right eye is -1 1/4, -75 at 87. -1 1/4, -75 at 87. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer, and let me go ahead and highlight this. And of course you're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging. -1 1/4, -75. And this is your right lens. Let me go ahead and mark right. Do that there. Let's do the same thing now for your left. While I got that pen in my hand, that's your left. And your left eye reads -1 1/4, -1 at 85. -1 1/4, -1. I will highlight your prescription. So I'm going to take your right lens, go ahead and put it on -1 1/4, open up the packet that it is sealed in, take it out, and I'm going to put it into the, let's double check, 1 1/4 at 87, okay. Put it in my lensometer, and I'm going to rotate your lens until the sphere power comes in clearly. And I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses, which are too light for you to see, so I'm going to darken them so you can keep score at home. 1, 2, and the right one makes 3, and that is the right lens. Let's do the same thing now for the left, which is, the axis is slightly different at 85, but it's still 1 1/4 power where I'm at, so I'm going to put the lens in, rotate until the sphere power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good. And now let's go ahead and put 3 dots on the lenses. And I'm going to darken these for you. 1, 2, and 3. And that is your left lens. So let's go ahead and take everything down here to get ready to cut your lenses. Now, this is a block, or as I like to call it, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting inside the edger. So I need a double-sided adhesive sticker stuck to your lens. So I've already put it on one side. I'm going to peel that paper away. The green side is the sticky side. Now there's that little silver button on the back is a magnet. That's what's going to hold it in place here in the arm. And I'm going to take the right lens. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there is your lens has to be oriented in there just perfectly for you to see your best. So when I place it on the platform there, you can see these 3 dots. That geometric center is where your optical center is. These other 2 dots give me a straight meridian to know it's going in there perfectly. And then I hit that button. The arm's going to come down and apply the block to your lens, your right lens. Let's do the same thing now for the left lens. Put it up there. The pupillary distance already mirrors the right lens. You are the same in both eyes, so I don't have to change that. Get everything lined up just perfectly. And let's grab this other block, pull the paper off to make this side sticky, line up the magnets right there, hit that button, And then the arm's going to come down and place the block onto your left lens. Now the actual cutting wheel is over here, and I don't need that again, is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center with that little channel, that valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. So let's go ahead and take your right lens. It just goes into the chuck. I've woken up the machine. That's the shape of your lens. These are polycarbonate lenses. I'm not going to polish. I'm not going to put a bevel on the front surface, just a light one on the rear. And then hit start. Door is going to close. That clamp is going to shut. And then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white calipers to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. And it is. It's going around measuring the shape of the lens. And it actually does this twice because it's going to measure the thickness at every point on your lens to make sure to know exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside your frame. And I can move the bevel forward, I can move it backward, so it's going to fit best. Of course, you have very little, you're not going to have any edge thickness because you have such a minimal prescription, a little bit lighter than average. So in just a moment you will hear as your lens touches down onto the cutting wheel. Now your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. This brand calls them Airwear. The Transitions brand calls them Airwear. Now again, this is Transition 7 gray lenses. Now, polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin from overexposure, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. It will never need to be reapplied, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that have to be reapplied every couple hours when you're out in exposure to the sun. Now the other nice thing about your lenses is they are aspheric. That's what the AS stands for. Aspheric simply means not spherical. A spherical lens is completely round in every direction and gives you that ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance that you've seen when people buy cheap glasses. These are not only your lens is thinner and lighter, but the front curvature is very, very flat to match the curvature of the frame to give you the best cosmetic finish possible. Now when you buy glasses from people online, they charge you for plastic lenses. If you want to upgrade to the thinner, lighter weight, unbreakable polycarb, there is a fee for that. And then if you want the aspheric lenses that are much flatter lenses, there's a third fee for that. So this is someone else's top tier premium lens that you get for free just for buying the frame from me. And of course my receipts have my federal ID tax number on there, so if you have vision insurance or unused flex dollars, you can be reimbursed from this purchase. So just trace the lens one last time just to verify exactly where it's going to place the safety bevel, or the bevel, I'm sorry, so it's going to fit best inside the frame to have the least amount of edge thickness, which you're not going to have, but if these were strong lenses, that would be something to consider. Now if you notice, up till now there has been no water running. Polycarbonate cuts dry where plastic and high index plastic cut wet. As you can see, water has just begun spraying, and that's just to wash away any optical debris. It does that for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any material that could be on the lens. Now you're going to see this arm move into place, that lever. And there's a spinning wheel that looks like something you would find on a Dremel tool, and that's what's applying the safety bevel to the back surface of the lens, so there are no rough edges on your finished cut lens. So in just a moment this lens will be done. We'll take it out and we'll see if it'll fit into your frame first time around. I'm gonna hit the button, open everything up. I want to go grab a paper towel to dry your lens off. Now let's see if it fits. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbs, I press down the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the left lens. I'm going to place that into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. Flip that over to L and hit start. And just like before, that clamp's going to shut. And then the lens is going to be traced again by the 2 white calipers to make sure this lens is large enough to fit into the frame. And it is. It's just going around tracing and again measuring the thickness at every point. If you notice, one side is a little bit thicker than the others. And measuring exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so it will fit best inside your frame and that you have no edge thickness whatsoever. You're going to have a great finished cosmetic quality here. I'm telling you, even though it's Valentine's Day, you're going to fall in love with these things. Your boyfriend might get jealous. Of course, he's the one who's buying these for you, as you mentioned, because he is so sweet and loving and kind and generous. And what a great Valentine's Day gift. So I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to measure and read the prescription off of to verify that this is made correctly. Your right eye, again, -1 1/4, -75 at 87. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 87. I'm going to put it in just over that red dot there, which is your optical center. And I'm going to read the power, and I'm getting -1 1/4, which is 1 tick mark away from 1. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction, which is another 3 steps, -75. And we end up with a total power of -2. The reason why, the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. And it starts at 0, which is plano, and goes up from there in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, 1/50, and so on. So you are nearsighted with your glasses off. You can see about right here really great, but anything beyond arm's reach, you need your glasses. You need 5 steps of correction for your farsightedness for you to see clearly. Now you need an additional 3 steps for your astigmatism correction. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. This first number, again, you need 5 steps to make it. Without your glasses on, everything is much too large. So that's why there's a minus sign. Your lenses minify to make everything the correct size. Once it's the correct size, we need 3 steps to take away fuzzy edges. Astigmatism, uncorrected astigmatism, is what makes everything fuzzy. That's why 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So this first number gets everything the correct size. This second number takes away fuzzy edges. Think of it as the fine-tune knob, and we're going to turn that knob to 87. A straight line is 0 to 180. We're going to turn that knob, when 90 is straight vertical, we're going to turn it just before we get to 90 to about 87. Now your left eye, -1 1/4, -1 at 85. So it's still 5 steps of correction to make everything the correct size at a distance, but you need 1 more additional step than your right eye to take away the fuzzy edges, and we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 85. So again, we're going to stop just before we get to that 90th meridian. These first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number could be anywhere from 0 to 180 and really doesn't mean anything like it does these last 2 numbers. That just tells me where that 85, where to rotate that lens so it fits best inside your frame. It's got to be at the 85th meridian. Now the reason why we ended up at 2, as you can see there, remember high school algebra, you add the 2 like signs together? Of course you don't, no one does, but I'm going to use today's terms that everyone does understand. If someone had borrowed $1.25 and then they borrowed another 75 cents, they would owe you $2. That's where we're at. We're at 2 steps. Now for your left eye, we're going to end up at 2 1/4 because we're going to add 1 to 1 1/4. So let me go ahead and take your left lens out. Double check to make sure that it fits into the frame. I'm going to dry your lens off, and where'd your frame go? There it is. It's down here. That pretty Italian-made Coach frame. So I'm going to tuck it in. Oh, hang on. I see a little optical debris. I'm going to scrape that off with my thumbnail. Tuck it in at the outside corner, and then using my thumbs, I press down the nose. It snaps in perfectly. I'm going to take this block off. It is no longer needed. Pull that sticker off. It is no longer needed. Dry the excess moisture off while keeping that red dot on your lens. I'm going to go down and place in my dusty Marco 101 lensometer. Turn the axis wheel to 85. Check. And we're at minus 1 1/4 again. Check to see you have 1 diopter of astigmatism correction, and we ended up at minus 2 1/4. So that is made perfectly. Your pupillary distance is 32 in each eye for a combined value of 64. So I'm going to turn your card around, and I'm going to place my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we hold it up to the left lens, we're getting 64 millimeters, so that is made perfectly as well. Now this is the time in every video that I explain that, Andrew, when you get these in the mail, and of course it's free shipping anywhere in the United States, but there's a small chance that these could be either too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And because of that statistic, that's why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. And I'm part of that 80%, and I'll demonstrate in just a moment. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment for now, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down, and there is no wobble. When I say wobble, I have one ear that is higher than the other. So when I press down on my glasses, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. I flip them over, press down, there is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Same amount of tension on each spring hinge, and there is. So this is what your lenses look like clear. You can see how your lenses minify the letters in the background as I move over them. They should get smaller from your vantage point. But let's go ahead and activate them. I'm going to show you what they look like when they turn dark. I'm going to go ahead and put them in my little transitions box, which just has expose them to a strong burst of ultraviolet light. And as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for the lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now pay attention, Andrea, this is important. All transition lenses turn dark on day 1. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they will not work is when you're behind the windshield in a traditional car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. The problem is that your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays so that your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now, as soon as you get outside, they will darken. They also darken in cooler temperatures. When it's 85 and 90 degrees and below, they're much darker than they are when it's near triple digits. I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable, everyone's miserable. Nobody wants to work 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. And of course, up in New England where you are, upstate New York, they're going to get very dark now. But that's it. That's the first time they've been activated. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Andrea, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut your coach. What is the model number? I left the card down there. This is the coach HC 6001 Emily. It is color 5055 and the dark tortoise. This is the 50 eye size. This frame sells for $179, and of course you get a free pair of prescription lenses, and you paid $50 to upgrade to the transitions, and that is it. So if anyone else out there needs a pair, email me and I'll get them to you. But hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.